So Ron, with Lucent having been acquired some time back and Nortel in trouble right now, there is obviously a vacuum in North America regarding the telecom incumbent vendors, and there is obviously an opportunity for Huawei to come in and fill that vacuum. What is the strategy of Huawei over the next 3 years in order to make sure that it is an incumbent vendor by the end of 3 or 4 years?
Well, I think it varies by each of the kinds of markets. Certainly in North America, we have begun to be successful in the access layer. We have begun certainly in the radio area. As an example, for Cox Cable, they bought some spectrum. We're providing the radio access network for them, and they've have an IMS trial that's that they've started to deploy. So the strategy in North America really is similar to what we have previously executed in Europe, that involves being able to go into an operator, be successful, and then begin to become more of a partner as well instead of just a supplier. So the real core of Huawei's success has to do with our relationship with our customers. The fact that we listen very carefully to what it is that they want, and then we quickly provide what they want and then support it going forward. So the long-term strategy really is to just continue to replicate that, continue to hold the customers that we have by providing superior products and services on a very timely basis.
Right. You touched upon IMS there. Obviously in North America, where they are a bit far ahead in terms of migration over to IP, and they would therefore be talking about IMS right now. You have certain IMS deployments as well, but primarily looking at your overall footprint when it comes to voice, it has primarily been soft switches. So is that primarily customer driven, or is that Huawei's strategy to promote soft switch in the initial phase and then look at IMS later on?
Well, our strategy is to do what it is that our customers find is the best for their business. So the first step in primarily in the mobile arena has been that the operators are looking at their total overall costs, and as the networks start to scale up, as the need for reliability increases, it's become necessary for them to change away from the mobile switching center concept and into mobile soft switches. So because of the savings in OpEx, the increases in reliability, and so this has been kind of the no-brainer part of the expansion, is the ability to have very short payback times on the expenses, and to put in place an infrastructure that can then grow into the future. And one of the ways it can grow is to be able to provide IMS-like capabilities. So what we're seeing now, and not just in the developed markets, but even in some of the emerging markets, is a trend towards IMS to solve specific business problems. So China Mobile, as an example, has been a primarily mobile supplier that's now getting into the fixed line services, and they're using IMS as a way to deploy enterprise applications that can take advantage of their mobile assets and their new fixed line assets. We're seeing other operators in Asia that are using IMS as a way to provide converged services for their residential subscribers that include not just traditional fixed, but maybe wireless last mile, whether it's WiMAX or other capabilities, with one set of converged cores. So there are different needs, and IMS turns out to be a very good architecture to be able to address different ways of handling the kinds of complex problems that our customers are bringing to us.
Okay, and obviously as you explore IMS, we're talking about services, we're talking about applications, and therefore software. There is a generally held view, or I would say a general impression in the industry, that Huawei is a hardware-driven company primarily. What exactly are you guys doing in the area of software?
I think a few years ago that was probably a relatively accurate representation. But over the last few years, we have very quickly transitioned to the point where the vast majority of our engineers are software engineers. In fact, the products that we're delivering are primarily software. So if we look at the core network as an example, we're using ATCA as our underlying platform. So there's really not, you know, having once developed the ATCA specifications, you know, adding some capabilities to make it more carrier grade, that now it's just, you know, follow the merchant technologies. Intel comes out with a better processor, Seagate comes out with a faster hard disk, bigger capacity. These just get integrated in. But the work that we're doing is around software. So each of our IMS modules is a separate software module with an interface that is not a hardware interface, it's now a software interface, and so an entire IMS implementation can exist on a single ATCA board. As you need to grow, you plug in more ATCA boards and move software modules around. So in core networks in particular, we have a very, very small hardware group, and everything that we're doing is software, because the entire core network is moving to essentially, it's just a matter of software.
Okay, just one last question I have. I've been following Huawei for a few years now, and majority of the time I see mostly the tier 1 customers. Obviously that should be the focus of the company, but are you also exploring relationships and partnerships with tier 2s and tier 3s? Because clearly some of those carriers are very innovative.
Absolutely, and in fact, especially in emerging markets, one of our strengths has been in the tier 2s and tier 3s, because we have given them capabilities that have allowed them to rapidly grow market share and become the tier 1s of the future. So if you look at the, rather than tier 1, tier 2 kind of thing, you look at the incumbents versus the emerging competitors, we have been very fortunate in helping a number of the smaller carriers become large carriers, and so that we're I guess if you put it in the context of arms suppliers, we're happy to sell to all sides in the battle.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for speaking to me, Ram.
Sure, my pleasure.